What's going on, guys? William Barry coming at you with another video. It is Saturday, and so we must dig into Ren. Chapter 7. Just so you guys know, after the chapters are done, I will have this as an official Ren day every day of the week until I get through every Ren song there is. Which means we will always dabble in a little bit of Ren. Till that day comes that either he quits making music or there's nothing else to watch. But I mean, we could find live streams. Oof. Instagram video. We'll find something. Ren will never disappear off my channel. Even if that motherfucker sees one of my videos and thinks, oh, that guy's disgusting. How dare he talk about me? Even then, he could block me. He could contact strike me, bro. I'll find a way to put a little Ren in my life. I guarantee it. Not saying he would ever do those things. I'm just saying. Ren is a special boy, and I need to keep him around. He found me at a pretty good time, and let's just say my life is in a way different place 2 months later. I feel like I'm dreaming. That's all I can say. Alright, Ren. Let's get into it.
Before he even had the test results, the doctor in Brussels glanced up from the form he'd asked me to fill out, and he said, "You have Lyme disease."
Wait, so like, before he even read the whole thing, he already knew? If that doctor knew that quickly, what was wrong with all the other motherfuckers? Come on, bro.
The doctor in Brussels glanced up from the form he'd asked me to fill out, and he said, "You have Lyme disease. We can run the tests, but I'm certain of it." I'd heard of Lyme in passing during my hours trawling the internet, but I'd never spent long diving into it. It was an extremely rare disease in the UK that you can get from tick bites, so it never really came across my radar. I sat there, puzzled for a moment. I said, can I get better? He said that many people go on to recover, some don't. Right. I wanted to ask him so many questions, but my mind at that moment was totally blank. The test results eventually came back, sure enough, positive for Lyme, and the co-infection Bartonella, along with many other biomarkers which suggested autoimmunity and immune dysfunction. My whole life, I'd been waiting for this moment. To have
Your whole life you're waiting for a moment. Even if that moment is bad news. It probably feels good to finally know. Then comes the weight of what that means and what the prognosis is, and there's just so much that pops into it.
immunity and immune dysfunction. My whole life, I'd been waiting for this moment. To have something printed on a piece of paper that showed that I wasn't actually fucking crazy. That I could shove in the faces of anyone who'd made me feel like a hypochondriac or like a head case. But when the moment finally came, I felt numb. It was hard to rejoice. I had the lingering PTSD from the psychotic meltdown the year before, which made it pretty hard to break into the realms of happiness. Instead, I did what I always do. I got home, and I took to the internet, and I researched the best ways to escape. The summer that I got sick, I spent 2 weeks camping in a small festival in Dorset. One night, me and friends decided to climb a nearby hill to build a bonfire in the woods. On the way there, the fields were full of long grass and deer. 3 people, all my age, who all attended that festival, came down with ME or fibromyalgia-like symptoms over the course of the next year. One was a friend of the family who was shut in a dark room for years because the light would be too intense for him. Before that festival, he was bursting with life, a successful capoeira dancer, reduced to a zombie. Lyme disease seemed to be as much of a medical labyrinth as ME was. On one side, there was a whole host of specialists who believed Lyme bacteria becomes chronic, evades the immune system response, can sometimes evade testing, and leads to debilitating symptoms unless treated with a long course of antibiotics. On the other side were doctors who claimed that Lyme can't persist. It's easily treatable with a 2-week course of doxycycline, and further symptoms following that must be due to an autoimmune response triggered by the Lyme, or perhaps an unrelated, undiscovered cause. I educated myself as best I could on all theories, trawling through research papers on PubMed, conversing people in support groups.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought if you get Lyme disease or suffer from a tick bite, it swells the fuck up. I learned that watching Scrubs, and it was at the top of the guy's head and his hair. where like you had to shave it to see the nick. So like, did Ren not have any markers on his body? He should have shaved his. If you ever start feeling sick, let this be a lesson. Shave all your hair. There could be something there.
Often contacting leading Lyme scientists via email or phone to ask them questions. Lyme disease is caused by Borrelia, a spirochete bacteria that causes symptoms like extreme fatigue, confusion, joint pain, heart problems, digestive issues, anxiety, depression, and in extreme cases, hallucinations. So everything was adding up. I fell down internet rabbit holes of learning how Borrelia produces outer membrane vesicles, which contain outer surface proteins which can modulate your entire immune response, essentially dampening it for its own survival. It was a truly insidious pathogen, a smart one out of a twisted horror sci-fi. There will be online groups claiming it was created in a lab in Plum Island off America and weaponized. Due to the widespread suffering it seemed to cause, and given how hard it was to treat, it was easy to see how people gravitated towards these sorts of superstitions and speculations.
That was, I know where that was from. Resident Evil, baby!
The main thing that made my head swim was the sheer number of treatment options, in part a byproduct of the cognitive dissonance in the medical industry at the time. There were countless antibiotic protocols, herbal protocols, immune system modulating protocols, wackier ones where people would be stinging themselves with bees or swallowing certain helminth parasites to modulate their immune system.
Wait, the helminth is real? It's the name of the infection in Warframe. Now I gotta Google what the hell fucking helminth actually means. Fuck, dude. More learning.
Be stinging themselves with bees or swallowing certain helminth parasites to modulate their immune systems. It was a wild west, and I wasn't so naive to be unaware that there were a lot of quacks in that space, selling people snake oil, financially taking advantage of desperation.
If you are one of those people that sell things that you know does nothing to make money, there is no kindness that should be afforded to you. There's no charitability. There's an honest way to make $1. Taking advantage of desperate people is not it. Anyone who does the terrible shit that so many people do, I think disqualifies you. It's hard to say those things though, because no, it's not. I can look to a CEO and say, hey man, that guy made a decision that might have impacted lives. But for the most part, I can understand why he's doing it. He's selling a product, he's running a business, and by and large, probably a majority of the products that that company is pushing out is helping a lot of people and giving people what they want. I can defend that. What I can't defend is a sleazy dirtbag selling fucking dirt and then calling it something beautiful and filling people with fake hope so that they can get sick and probably still continue to die. It's aggravating.
Like a lot of the medical industry, I despise people and companies who see opportunity to profit from other people's misery.
Yes.
If you're watching this video and you're one of those people, I would highly consider switching your role in the world and being on the right side.
Nah, Ren, that was way too kind. How about this? Why don't you fucking suck a dick? There we go. Yeah. You're one of those people that prey on sick people. I think I got a shotgun in the back of the van that you can deep throat, you son of a bitch. See, Ren's a better person than me. I'd start breaking jaws, but then again, I'm madder than Ren is, and Ren is the one that had to live through it. Ren, your grace knows no bounds, buddy. I think you're being a little too kind to these dirt bags, though.
One common factor a lot of these protocols seem to share was you would certainly get a lot worse before you got any better.
Oh no.
There was something called the Jarisch-Herxheimer reaction. As you kill off the pathogens in your system, they release biotoxins in your body, which are eventually cleared out by your kidneys and liver. These can cause systemic inflammation, additional fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, pain, flu-like feelings.
This is why I've said like 100 times in these videos that we are far less more in control of who than we think we are. I know that people don't like to hear this because we like to believe that we're the shepherd of our own ship, right? Like we're the one in the driving seat. A lot of the times I'm talking about things like I mean, your mood can be off simply by being hungry. You let alone a pathogen that gets in your body. It can make you tired. It can give you mood swings. It can cause irritants. Doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter how I got this. At the end of the day, you're a human, and your body does human shit. Now humans can do remarkable things. They can, and they have, and you will. But that doesn't mean that you can do everything. Your body needs to heal, and many things can affect your bodies in a massive magnitude of ways. I say all that to say, because it's really important, is that you should always be mindful of who you are at any given moment. Sometimes you're going to say something you really don't mean. Sometimes it's out of fear. Sometimes it's out of anger. Sometimes you're going to do things that you don't know why you did it. It could be addiction. It could be longing. It could be like wanting to feel a particular thing. And like I said, you know, in the very first I read and in numerous other videos before that, that there exists more than a single entity in us. Our brain, the shepherd of our ship, is no more than just another very, very, very impressive muscle. Just as you work out your arms and they get stronger and they love it and they like to feel good, your brain does the same thing. Your stomach does too. The more you feed it, the more it expands and the more it wants. You have so many modes of like different entities that exist in with you that don't work necessarily in your best interest. Your mind can get in your way. Your heart can mess things up. Your body can fail you. There's so many variables that you're not necessarily as in charge as you think you are. I don't mean to say that to sound like a douchebag or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, we are affected by so many things. Now, does that mean that there's no responsibility for who you are? And no, it is your job to regulate yourself in the world. And it's your job to find the moments where you're starting to get a little bunk and find a way to correct it through exercise, which I barely do, or through, you know, taking any trigger away that could be causing a potential breakdown. You know, if you're hungry, you got to regulate, you got to eat your food, you know. There's just so many layers. People are strangers within themselves. The majority of our lives is figuring out who we are. And usually by the day we finally figure it out, the day we say goodbye.
Additional fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, pain, flu-like feelings. I was no stranger to these things already, but when they got even worse, it was a mental battle. I sought out as many success stories as I could, and I looked for common threads in the ones of the people who made a full recovery. It seemed like long courses of antibiotics were working for some people, but to do it safely I needed to be in the care of a specialist. The NHS were fucking useless. After multiple appointments, one with an infectious disease specialist, they told me the most they could give me was a couple-week course of doxycycline. I knew that probably wouldn't be enough. They told me chronic Lyme wasn't something that they recognised. I presented them with printouts of much of the research I'd gathered online for the most recent studies, which they dismissed. One of them told me I seemed obsessed, and they asked me if I thought about getting...
Oh man, you're probably obsessed. Like, why don't you just listen to the doctors? Yo, motherfucker, you guys misdiagnosed me for fucking 10 goddamn years. You're damn right I'm obsessed. This is my life. I've been stuck in a bed. I've been stuck in a prison. What the fuck do you mean? I would have punched that doctor in the dick. I would have ripped the dick off of him and shoved it down their throat. What an insensitive, stupid fucking statement to say to anybody suffering through an illness. You want to be obsessed with your illness. You want to learn what's going on, what foods you can eat, what you can't do, what you want, all of these things. What doctor in their right mind would ever be upset with a patient for wanting to learn more about their condition? The biggest problem most often is that people don't give a shit. They go to the doctor tells them what to do, and they never dive into what's wrong with them. They never look into what can make their lives better. They don't look at the fucking proper foods. They don't look at the fucking things that you can do to be healthy. They don't look about the amount of exercise that's required, what vitamins are good for what's going through, what supplemental medicines can be useful and beneficial, and then they just get worse and worse and worse, and they just keep going back. you know, like keeping the medical system fucked up, keeping it like jammed down to where now we're having reoccurring customers. And then meanwhile, you have a customer that's out here, not a customer, but an individual out here learning what he can to be a better person. And the doctor's like, you're obsessed. You're a fucking dick. How about that? You know what I mean? Fuck you. Obsessed. You son of a bitch. I swear to God, Ren, you are a better man than me. I would have went to jail that night. It would have happened. I would have broke bones.
Recent studies which they dismissed. One of them told me I seemed obsessed.
It just makes me mad hearing it again.
And they asked me if I thought about getting a hobby.
Oh my fucking God. What doctor? What? Who is this doctor? Can you name them, please? I will fly to your country to punch that fucker in the mouth. Hopefully he's in these comments and he's like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I was such a monster. What kind of doctor would ever say that? One, Ren has a hobby. You fucking piece of shit. Two, Ren wants his life back. Okay, sorry.
I fantasized about dragging him by his tie across his desk and pressing a stapler into his skull. Then
Ren, I love you, bro. Please don't ever change.
I politely got up and left. Doxycycline would lead to improvements for a short time frame, and then my symptoms would come creeping back.
Okay, so what you should have done that, and then when you were healthier, could you have just then went to a different specialist that you could trust?
Tried many antibiotic and herbal approaches to treat the Lyme without much luck. I tried things like Rife treatment, which is essentially running an electromagnetic pulse through your body in hopes it will kill the bacteria. I was desperate. It seemed that America took Lyme disease far more seriously than the UK, which made sense.
Yes, we finally did something right.
It seemed that America took Lyme disease far more seriously than the UK, which made sense as it was far more prominent there. I settled on a doctor called Dr. Jemsak over in Washington, and when I could, I would busk or I'd sell music online to raise money. My girlfriend at the time also ran a fundraiser, and my mum said that she'd also help contribute towards flights. It's not easy being sick and broke, but somehow we made it work.
No, it's not, buddy. I'm right there with you. I ain't got $1 to my name other than what's given to me through YouTube. And you guys over on Buy Me a Coffee. I'm still unemployed. This is all I got. And luckily I'm not sick. My things are just due to obesity and being a fucking asshole and not taking care of myself when I had the ability to do so. Depression is a mother. Never take for granted what you have. Please don't. Because then you feel like a burden for them.
A week before I was due to fly out, something happened which changed my whole life. I've always been a believer in the good that you're putting out in the world coming back to you. Luck, therefore, is more of a karmic consequence. When I was making video blogs, I wasn't doing it to build a following or for any sort of social merit or personal gain. I was doing it because I thought I was going to die.
Look, guys. Look. This is Ren's chapter, and I shouldn't be talking about my shit over his chapter. And Ren, I apologize, brother. I do. I feel that, dude. So, Codex, one time, said something to me on here. He said, you know, your videos would improve if you pause less, let the music play more, and, you know, you will probably grow a bigger audience. And my response to him was, I don't need a bigger audience. I already got you guys. That's enough. It's true. I don't do what I do here on YouTube to gain followers. I didn't. The first time I watched a Ren video, just because someone who was following me requested it. That's it. I didn't think Ren was gonna blow up. Like, I was genuinely shocked that people watched the video. I was genuinely shocked that anyone cared. You know, this isn't like I'm not researching what songs to do, or, you know, I'm not trying to come off and make videos that are the most appealing to people or say the things that get the most likes and follows. And I know that sounds artificial. Like, I'm pretty sure every YouTuber probably says that. But what he just said, I was making these videos because I thought I was going to die. the letters to myself were the same thing for me. You know, I know I'm not going to leave behind, you know, a legacy, family. I can have kids. I'm past that point in my life already. And, you know, I wanted to leave something behind for the 5 people that show up to my funeral, brother. After going to Vinny's, I learned a valuable lesson that locking yourself away in your room all the time, though it might be enjoyable at the time, leaves you with nothing to share with the world when you. And I didn't want to be that guy. So I made my content that I wanted. I stopped giving a shit about what other people want. I made the videos I wanted to make. I made the reactions long and meaty and talked about a bunch of bullshit. And I will always do that now. I spent years chasing algorithms, making videos that I thought other people were going to like. You know, trying to be funny all the time on YouTube and making content that I thought was going to gain me videos or views and subscriptions or end up on Reddit. And I just, fuck it. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to do what I want to do. And those that come will like what I do. And those that don't, well, they're just like everybody else. And that's okay. Like, that's what matters. And it makes me so warm in the soul. That's what Ren does for a living. And he openly admits that here. I heard it in High Ren 2 months ago when he was talking to the Beast. And he said, I'm doing something really great. I feel like I might finally make a difference. And he did, man. It's so good. It's literally breathtaking. It's fucking great.
I was doing it because I wanted to feel like I'd left some sort of positive mark on the world, like I'd helped. I remember waking up one morning and going through the comment section of the latest video I'd posted, only to find a message from a British doctor who is running a clinic over in Germany in Los Angeles. He is the third and final angel of this story.
Okay.
He was reaching out to offer to help, and he didn't want anything in return. We exchanged messages and ended up jumping on a video call together. The angel explained that he sympathised with my story. His son was a musician, and at his clinic he'd seen firsthand the countless times the destruction that Lyme disease was causing. He explained his clinic was involved in cutting-edge stem cell procedures and seeing promising results for various autoimmune and Lyme patients. The cost of the procedure was upwards of $25,000, something that I could never afford.
Fuck.
But he said that every year he personally selected patients to attend his clinic for free. He would offer me the treatment free of charge. All he wanted me to do was document my experience.
Nice.
It made sense to me that if Borelli...
That's such a fucking smart idea for a doctor. Think about it this way, okay? Look, I know we don't want to talk about like the business end and stuff because a lot of people get antsy when I do that. But think about it from this perspective, okay? One, you have a semi-popular, like he probably wasn't like huge on YouTube yet, but like he was bigger than I am probably right now, you know what I mean? If you had 3,000, 10,000, 20,000 people watching your content and they've been seeing your story, your struggle, seeing anything and everything you go through, and even ended up on a documentary once, you know, by offering that free trial, one, he's just being a good guy, but two, it can actually create a feedback loop that's really good. One, these were like newer experiments being done, like actively curing somebody or getting close to, like he could probably raise so much funding by doing that alone. If Ren put out a good video, showed like you could see in real time the difference that it made for him, then he could take that to whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so smart. I love it when greed can be a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, fuck yes.
Was able to modulate the immune system for its own survival, that an intervention that focused on immunological homeostasis would help. The clinic also offered antibacterial IVs targeting the Lyme and various other treatments intended to build the body back up after years of chronic health complications. I was kind of in shock. When a stranger reaches out and offers something so generous, it's natural to doubt his intentions, but something told me to trust this kind offer. I really had nothing to lose, and as morbid as it sounds, my willingness to die made it easy to throw myself into a more experimental procedure.
Yeah, dude. That's why I make that joke all the time about the fact that suicide is an option. I feel like I can do anything, because if I fuck myself up so bad, I'll just end it. You know what I mean? Fuck it. But it makes me feel like I can touch the sun. You know what I mean? I believe I can fly. Gotta be careful. She hates that song.
There was also some security in the fact that he wanted me to document my experience and share it with the world. If it had been more sinister, surely he wouldn't want that sort of exposure. I decided I'd still go to the initial consultation with Dr. Jemsek, as I'd raised the money, but I would catch a flight to LA once it was done. Money was still an issue.
Facts.
The entire treatment length was about 6 weeks, and back then I could have never afforded the accommodation for that long. I decided to hop on Facebook, and I found a Lyme support group based in LA. There, I found people going through the treatment at the clinic who were happy to put me up in their guest rooms. Despite all our faults, human beings' ability to empathize, lift up strangers, and collectively solve problems purely because it's the right thing to do is such a beautiful characteristic to carry.
Yes.
I sincerely hope that we can find ways to hold on to our own empathy and humanity as we step into the future. I believe these traits will save us as a species.
Facts.
Survival of the fittest is a myth in a society where we have all our basic needs met. It becomes survival of those willing to cooperate.
Nothing to say. That's perfect. You did better than me, Ren.
The time came and I flew out to America with Momoko, keeping me company and keeping an eye out in case my health crashed. I went to the initial consultation in Washington, D.C. They recommended that I get on a minimum of a year-long course of various antibiotics and supplements, some to be rotated. I saw this as my fallback plan if the stem cells didn't work. We then headed to LA. It was summertime, so it was boiling.
Yep.
The clinic was based in Beverly Hills.
Ooh.
The juxtaposition of spending most of my life in waiting rooms that were falling apart, feeling like a defective product on a conveyor belt that's being rushed along only to be dismissed, to then go into being in what felt like a 5-star health spa where there seemed to be a genuine care and interest for my well-being was quite odd.
I don't want to defend the healthcare system because it is broken. But privatized health has some dope shit going. If you have money. The key is to have money.
I was greeted enthusiastically by the doctor. He seemed a lot younger than his age. When I mentioned this, he laughed and he said it was the stem cells. As we spoke, I could see his childlike enthusiasm for what they were doing at the clinic. Stem cells were very in vogue at the time. There was also much territory to explore, and the potential of what they could offer harder to treat diseases was incredibly exciting and promising. It was hard not to feel some of that contagious excitement leaking from the doctor. He explained that because I've been sick and misdiagnosed for so long, it wasn't going to be easy. There was no magic fix. At times I might feel like giving up, but I should trust the process.
Nice.
So I did. When we first arrived, I was staying on the floor of a young couple's apartment. They were just starting treatment at the clinic. Fontaine was a songwriter and he was an actor. One night he asked me if I liked bikes, and then he took me out on the back of his Harley Davidson and drove at high speed through the hills surrounding LA. It was interesting talking to Fontaine about her experience.
I love the hills. Oh! I love the hills of LA and California. Like, they're my favorite places to hang out. In Lake Elsinore, there's a place called The Lookout. I can't remember what highway it's up. I think it's 68 or 70. It was right by my house as a kid. Right by the Ortega Market. And the reason why it was awesome is there's this big windy like road that went up the side of the mountain, and right there where the Lookout is, which was a little restaurant that I never ate at once in my life, which one of these days I need to try. You could park there, and it's actually the background here on our YouTube. Well, let's see here. Well, I made it look more like this is an actual shot that I turned into like an AI piece. Like, I ran it through AI and put a castle and stuff there, so it could look like part of Element. But like, Elsinore is a beautiful place, man, and those hills. And I lived like right here. That's wild, dude. It's wild. All right, dude. I'm sorry.
I'd found people I could relate to online, but very rarely did I meet people in person whose experience had mirrored my own. She'd also been through the ringer of misdiagnoses, medical dismissal, left to suffer, trying desperately to claw back her own life. I started to realise this problem wasn't localised to the UK. It was global. So many people were going missing and screaming into a void.
Fuck.
The first week at the clinic was aimed at building my body back up. I would sit for hours while various vitamins and nutrients were dripped into my body to address any deficiencies that may have occurred from years of being sick. They also offered talk therapy, lymphatic drainage massage, ways to calm your nervous system that would aid healing. I was still having to pinch myself that this was all free. I felt guilty for the people who had to pay. It wasn't easy. Occasionally I'd have an immune reaction to one of the IV drips. I didn't know at the time, but I had mast cell activation syndrome, which meant my body would become highly inflamed in response to many food, vitamins, even things like perfumes or scents from everyday cleaning products could set it off. A year later, while in the German clinic, I would be minutes away from nearly dying after going into anaphylactic shock during an IV drip. A nurse luckily caught me in the nick of time and injected me with an EpiPen. I spent a night in the emergency ward with Germans who couldn't speak a word of English, who put me on an electrolyte drip that made me feel even worse.
Ooh.
During the second week in LA, I moved places to stay with another couple. The husband had been a prop and set designer for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They were extremely generous with their time and space and became almost...
I actually met Uncle Phil. I'm from Los Angeles, right? I worked for a moving company. It was just me and a bunch of Mexican dudes. And we walked into Uncle Phil's house. And he was moving. And like, bro, I'm telling you, the guy was the nicest dude on earth. A couple years later, unfortunately, he had a heart attack. But he was so cool. I've met a few celebrities that were pretty cool. David Borealis, I think that's how you say his name, from Bones. That dude is the gangster. For the rest of my life, he's an internet nice, or a Hollywood nice guy. Along with, I didn't meet this one, but I've heard this true. What was his name? Oh, Brendan Fraser. It would have been dope to meet Brendan Fraser, man. I can't believe he hit such a hard time. I couldn't watch The Whale. It'd probably be too close to home, dog. Oh, shit. Oh, I barely bumped the table.
Surrogate parents to me and Momoko. There is an unusual companionship you feel with someone who has faced similar levels of suffering as yourself, like an unspoken bridge of understanding. At the time, I was having difficulties with my girlfriend. I wanted her to come with me to LA, as this felt like a pretty pivotal moment in my life. It was a time where I really just wanted to feel safe, but she couldn't take the time off work. I think I felt a little bit funny about the fact Momoko had made the time and sacrificed her own work and she hadn't. She was being distant with me whenever we spoke on the phone, which frustrated me more and more.
Oh, no.
We ended up arguing a fair bit. I think this is the beginning of seeds that would soon grow into finding extremely difficult to be in relationships in general. I usually feel pretty unlovable, extremely isolated, very antisocial.
Same, brother, same.
I felt alienated, often bitter that most people go through their lives not knowing what it's like to hurt every day. That they didn't appreciate the freedom their bodies allowed them as they should. To be alive and to not hurt is a blessing. To be alive and not hurt is all I want. The day...
What did, in Stains, It's Been a While, he just says, I just want...
The day of the stem cell transplant finally arrived, and I was nervous, as you would be getting a giant fucking metal rod shoved into your skin. The doctors offered me an anti-anxiety med, and I was never one to turn down free drugs. With autologous stem cell transplant, they take cells from your own fat, centrifuge them, and then do some magic science shit and then feed them back to you in an IV. To acquire these cells, they have to do liposuction. The issue was I was already skinnier than a shadow on a cloudy day. They would usually take the fat from the stomach, but as I had virtually no body fat, they had to go in through the back near my coccyx. They spent about 20 minutes sawing away at your insides and separating your muscle from fat. Then they inject you with a liquid that breaks it down and they suck it back out. Fresh for the stem cell harvest. There's a video of me drugged up and laughing as a needle as big as my forearm gets rammed into my back.
Oh no. Oh.
I returned home pretty bruised up, but full of hope. like they're digging for gold. And so I'm pretty kind of bruised up. I've got these 2 little holes here where they took the stem cells out and they put them back in my arm. You can't really see on this camera because the light's too much, but I've got more holes in my arm than a Scottish heroin addict. I've met people at the clinic who were further along the process than me, who were singing the praises of how much better they felt. For the first 3 months I didn't really notice much, but I was told it would take time. I was already doing somewhat better from the 6 weeks of IVs. It's an unusual psychological space to be teetering on the precipice of hope that your whole life could change. There's a certain tension and a certain excitement that comes with that. I was also having big problems with my girlfriend at the time. I'd found out some things that had really shaken my trust. In retrospect, I should have just walked away then and there, but I held on because part of me blamed myself. In my sickness, I held people at a distance, so I felt like I deserved negative things.
Feel that in my soul, buddy.
We would fight a lot. The health problems added a whole new dimension to something that would be hard for any couple. I couldn't trust that she loved me as much as she said she did because of certain things that I found out. A few months after the transplant, me and her decided to get away from everything and stay with her mother on the south of Spain. One night, we were sat on the grass, looking up at the sky, being surrounded by avocado and lemon trees. It felt like we were in some sort of Eden-like paradise. She asked me to marry her. It was her way of proving that she loved me and would always love me. And I said yes, but I meant no. Even when we went to pick out rings, I just felt scared. I lost the ability to trust love. I don't fully blame her for that. She was an awesome person trying to navigate a complicated situation. I blame my sickness.
Very mature so far. Okay, Ren, I see you, Daddy. Come on now.
Sickness was an inseparable for me, and so I blame myself. After about a month of being home, she sat down with me one day and told me she decided to move to Australia for a year. She told me it wouldn't change anything between us. I had my doubts.
It's gonna change everything, but 2 months
Despite
later.
the additional stress in my life, something amazing was happening. About 4 months after the stem cell transplant, I noticed the desire to leave the house. I noticed more colour in my skin. I joined a gym that was a 3-minute walk from my house. I started working out for the first time in years. Music started pouring back into my life. I was singing more. I was producing more. And this was all leading up to my favourite chapter so far.
Works out too because I haven't seen the original. Let's go.
No flame to spark my Nike's laced in dirt. Shit. I feel like I'm treading on my own soul. My headphones only working on the left side, but I try to live the right life. My eyes wide and I strive to stop my demons ripping from the inside. This road is dark and I can't find the batteries for my flashlight. I'm blind-eyed and I'm tired.
You guys don't know this, but after hearing this song for the first time, I jumped on Discord with my league son, Ty. I was like, yo, bro, you like Ren? And he was like, yeah, dude. And he loves Ren. He's been telling me about Ren for a long time. And that's why I kind of had an idea of what Ren was about the first time I heard him, because I heard him talking about Ren. So the thing that's really cool about that is he had never heard Blind Eye. So I was like, dude, we're gonna do a reaction through Discord. So we jumped in a call, and I made him watch it with me, and we watched it together, and it was awesome. We got about 2 minutes in before another homie jumped in, and then started just, we're like, oh, all right, we'll just. We never went back to finish, but it was a fun experience for me to finally get to show stuff of Ren off to other people. Ow! Sorry, the bottom of my foot hit something.
Red, go. These drugs don't work. The pain, it takes control. Blood-stained shirt. I feel like I'm always being chased by the devil. I try to talk, but I can't seem to get my spoken words right. And I try to keep my stutter alive. And this life, it can be ish, right? Cut you like a flip knife, twist and make you sick, right?
Look at these two people just vibing, dude. That's awesome.
Right, cut you like a flip knife, twist and make you sick, right? And I feel maybe I'll be better. So I redirect the calls from my phone. I learned so.
Oh, that person looks like she in love, bro. Who's you in love with? Is it Ren or is it Sam? Or is it both, girl?
Many lessons from depression, but in essence I'm just wishing that these bad thoughts were gone. Sometimes I guess sometimes it's when it's like time is against me. In my mind I kind of mind, yeah, though my mind it tortures me. But I shine, cause when I shine it's like my shines, they set me free. And I rhyme, I shine so bright, these rhymes come out of me. Times I bleed, times I crawl, times I slip, times I fall. Times my back's up against the wall, so hard that the whole building could fall. Times I bruise, times I break, times I'm true, times I'm fake, times I'm fake. When the forward is to open and just swallow me for goodness sake. I think I'm gonna break cause I ain't straight. I'm awake in the world.
Yeah, that made the whole crowd lose it. Dude, that's so gangster, bro. Fuck yes.
Goodness sake, I think I'm gonna break cause I ain't gonna straight. I'm awake in the world.
Look at our boy sing. He's so happy, dude. That is this. Look, it's so good. It's so good, dude.
Sometimes no time for double taste, but that's just the way life goes sometimes. But I don't want to end up in the gutter being bad, but my trouble face down in the puddle where the sun don't shine. I'm coming on the back, on the track, and the track, and the no peace.
There it is, there it is.
Oh Lord, take this pain away.
This is a little out there. Did you hear that little thing he did with that guitar? It sounded like a little mistake, but I don't think it was. I think that was intentional. That sounded sexy. Let's go back a little. Yeah. So the way that sound comes into like existence is You can mute the strings by ever slightly putting your finger on them and then playing the note. And then it comes out like it's like a muted, this is a technical term, obviously I don't know the name of it. Or you can just play at the top. So something you can do is like some people will like put a pickup there, you just pick the top string and it'll make like a ching sound. And if you can do it really quickly like that, you can do like a beautiful little a little bit of ad lib with the guitar. It's actually beautiful. Whoops. Wrong thing. Right here.
So that was a song that me and Ren wrote. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Ren Makes Music, that's REN Makes Music. I am Sam Tompkins UK, that's Sam TOMPKINS UK. This next song is called Same Old Situation. We wrote this not so long ago. Ren Makes Music, that's it.
Ren Makes Music. Ah, what a time. What a time. This was Ren's blow up, huh? He earned it, man. He got lucky with his disease. But the rest of it, that was all effort. And honestly, I don't think Ren got lucky with the disease. That guy reached out because of Ren's constant vlogging, constant videos, and because by creating to sound bad, I don't mean it that way, but by creating a viewer base where the guy could, like, you know, probably advertise his product, maybe even potentially get help from the government, or, you know, use that as like this guy can always use Ren as like a success story. And by doing that, he's gonna make a lot more money. More people are gonna go get the procedures done. The government can sponsor, like, you know, cures for other people. Like, this is huge. And it happened because Ren was consistent. He put in the work. He kept talking about these things. He made it public. He didn't hide anything about himself. He showed you the dirty, the broken, and the wrong. We need more people that speak out about these things. I'm glad Ren is here to be a champion. It's good. It's good for the soul. I'm sorry, guys. But when I end this recording now, I'm going to go find someone to bug. But I'll talk to you guys in the next video, I promise. Until then, much love. Stay beautiful. And from the bottom of my heart, Ren, thank you so much for your music, for your message, for those that you inspire, and for the renegades that have made my life so much better. Thank you. Also, the game. You just lost it.